Hey guys, this is Guard. Today I'm going to be playing in a draft as part of my new free-to-play run. I started this account yesterday and did some of the campaign, not a bunch of it. I'll do more later. I just wanted to get the tutorial 1 and 2 completed. These gives you, the first one gives you a booster and the second one gives you 5 tickets, which is great because unlike the last client, you had to do your dailies for 3 days to get 3 tickets before you could play on draft. Now you can just draft from day 1 since the tutorial gives you 5 tickets and drafts only cost 4 tickets. I could have drafted yesterday. This is my second day on the account. I just didn't because I didn't have time and I wanted to make sure I could record all these drafts for y'all to, get some more content out there and help people learn Soulforge, I guess, or try to play it better. I'm not the best player, but I'm okay. Anyway, the new draft. It's set up kind of like, or the new draft queue, I should say. It's set up kind of like a cross between the Hearthstone system with the Gauntlet, or not Gauntlet, what's it called, Arena, and the old Soulforge queues. So you play until 2 wins or 7 losses. Hearthstone is 12 wins or 3 losses, so it's a much fewer games than Hearthstone. But I mean, that's good for me, and I think most people, because 12 wins is such a long time. Playing Hearthstone is in the arena is so annoying because even if I have the best deck ever, around 7-8 games is all I really want to play before I'm ready to just try a different deck, try new cards, So I like Soulforge a lot more for that. You don't have to grind as much for your wins either. The rewards are very good. And since you keep all your cards, the main thing you're going to be doing if you're free to play or want to build up a collection really quickly is you pay 4 tickets to enter the draft, and you take all the heroics you see. Heroics are worth quite a bit of silver now if you can scrap them down. They're worth, I think, 25,000 silver. Let me check here. Do I have a heroic? Warmonger mod. That's a good solid heroic. Or Battletech. Oh, how do I forge it? Okay, so it won't let me forge it because I don't have enough silver. But I'm pretty sure it's 25,000. Silver to forge one, and to scrap one, it's probably a little less than that. I'm getting off track here. Anyway, you want to pick up the heroics, just to they're worth the most silver. So eventually you'll get enough heroics where you can scrap the excess down to silver and create whatever cards you want. And let's see. You get 3 tickets a day, right? So you can, if you win just 2 times, which is a 50% win rate, you go 2-2. You get event tickets. That means you can draft every single day if you're an average player. I think 50% win rate's not that hard to get if you just, think a little bit about your plays and then play okay. 50% is pretty fine. So you're pretty much not guaranteed, but if you're trying, you can draft once a day because you get 3 wins from. If you get 10 wins in a day, you get 3 tickets. So you can just, get your wins, your daily wins, and then you get 3 tickets there. Then you get the 1 ticket from your draft, and you're good to go. You just draft every day. If you get 6 wins, you get 4 tickets, which means to draft right away. And if you get 7 wins, it's actually 8 tickets. I got 7 wins the other day, and it was 8 tickets. They haven't updated this yet. They updated the rest of them, but not the the rewards used to be wrong in the old one. I put a post, and they fixed all the silver rewards. But 7 wins actually 8 tickets. I don't know if they nerfed the ticket return, or if they just forgot to update this part. But it's 8 tickets, which gives you 2 drafts. So the draft queue is just the best it's ever been. You get to play a lot of games to practice. You get to keep all the cards you draft, and you're really rewarded for playing well and learning how to play the game. So I guess that's enough preamble. Let's just go ahead and play the draft. Let's see. So I think the best card in this pack is probably Damara's Pig card. It's huge. 6'8", 9'11", 14, 16. So it's huge at rank 1. That's really large for a rank 1 creature. And it's got poison. It gives the opposing creature poison 2 as long as it's in play. Which means it trades for basically anything. And it's pretty decently sized. The 2 and 3, these aren't very strong. These aren't very huge for their ranks. But the fact that it gives poison 4 to the opposing creature means it has an artificial +4 to +8 power on it, which is really large. It can kill basically anything. And sometimes you can just put it in front of a damaged creature already, and it'll just die to the poison. You don't even have to, and then it's just a big creature. It's very, very strong. The other cards in this pack that I would like to take Contagion Lord, Guitar Sprite, and Orient Justicar probably the next ones down on my list. Contagion Lord's just a decent creature. It gives you a pretty bad Abomination that puts in your deck. But the actual Contagion Lord itself is very good. You can activate it to kill one of your Abomination. There's a lot in the draft. You just pick them up randomly. And you get to play an extra card. So usually you're trading an Abomination for another play. But usually the Abomination is damaged, or you're sacrificing the Contagion Lord itself, which is pretty small. It's only a 4/7. And you get to level an extra card because you get to play an extra card. Which makes Necreum decks actually have a leveling engine and a way to get more plays. And if you manage to get it to rank 3, it's a 14/17, which is quite big, and you get to play 2 cards per Abomination you sacrifice, which is really, really swingy. So getting this card is very good. I like it a lot. I would probably take it if tomorrow's pick card isn't in the board, because I just like this card. I like drafting Necreum. But I think stronger than Contagion Lord are both Guitar Sprite and Justicar. Justicar, because there's a lot of tokens in this format, and it's really big. 5/8 is almost as big as tomorrow's pick card, and its effect is really good. It's even a very strong underdrop, because -5 attack on a lot of the tokens is pretty much all their attack, right? Hunting Pack is a 3/2, and it's a 6/4 at rank 2. So this reduces Hunting Pack to a 1/4 at rank 2 as just a rank 1 creature, which is quite good. And it completely nullifies pretty much every token in existence from rank 2 onwards. And Guitar Sprite's just very good with all the replacing come into play triggers cards in the set, like Spring Dryad, Harbinger of Spring, Shard Claw Crusher. No, it doesn't work with Shard Claw Crusher. But anyway, and Tremor Sword's fine. It's a good creature. It's just very board dependent, and Trial by Combat's okay. So tomorrow's pick card's pretty easy pick here, and then we follow up with this pack's not very good. There's no card I really want to take here. I think the best 2 cards in the pack are probably Grave Pact and Totem of Berserker. One thing I notice a lot in this format is that there's a lot of... I said there were a lot of token producers, but there's also a lot of very large creatures. You can Voltron your creatures up to make a 1 large threat. Like Shard Claw Crusher is +5/+5 to any creature. You can put that on a Deep Branch Prowler, and it's a 13/13 trample, or breakthrough, rather. And that's actually quite difficult to deal with because there's not a lot of removal. And Death Pact is one of the only soft-gated removals in the format. Eventually it gets free, and you do have to destroy a creature of your own. But since I'm already a Nuterra, I can probably pick up like some Seedling Creators or whatever, and have that cost be lessened. On the other hand, Totem of Berserker would put me in Nuterra Tempest, which is known as Umbric. And this card's a decent removal spell. You have to play it in an empty lane, and it can move people to protect your other cards. And it's got such high power, it usually kills whatever it moves. But I don't think it's as good as Grave Pact. It does put me in Umbric, which is a very strong faction pair, but I like drafting Dejan a little more than I do Umbric, so I'm going to take the Grave Pact. Then we've got Hunting Pack is bad. Dryad's Boon's okay. It's a pretty good buff spell. And it's actually quite good in Dejan because you can make a very large regenerating creature. There's quite a few regenerating creatures in a Necreum. But Shimmerfang Serpent is probably the best card here. It's kind of like Damara's Pickguard, but it's defensive version. it gives more poison than Damara's Pickguard, but it can't attack for nearly as much. And if you pump the Shimmerfang Serpent, it actually deals poison equal to its battle damage. So it can take down pretty much any creature. Yeah, so I'm going to take it. Then we've got another Shimmerfang Serpent and a Shard Claw Crusher. I like Shard Claw Crusher because it can pump your creatures, but I'm going to take another Shimmerfang Serpent because Shimmerfang Serpents are rare, and the way you can tell that is by looking at these colored bars at the bottom. The green one, the Shard Claw Crusher has a 1 green bar right here. That means it's common. The blue, there's 2 blue bars here, which means it's a rare. Heroics have 3 yellow bars, and Legendaries have 4 red bars. So that's just one way you can tell. And what that means for this pack is I'm going to take the Shimmerfang, even though I'd rather have a Shard Claw Crusher, because I'm more likely to see Shard Claw Crusher in current and future packs, because it's just more common. And Bramblewood Guardian is bad. It's just too small to matter. So we're just going to take Kahalazeth. So I haven't played with Scourge Knights in this color pair yet, and Scourge Knights is one of those cards that's either really underwhelming or really overbearing, in my experience. The token creation in Nuterra does help with the raid, but it's a little less, or not raid, formation. It's a little less unreliable since you can't always choose where your tokens are going to go. Herd Mother's kind of the same thing. I think the pick is between these three cards: Scourge Knight, Herd Mother, and Twin Strength. Bramblewood Guardian's bad. Cavern Serpent's not as nearly good as the other three cards. And I already have a Howl of Zeth. I usually only like playing one of those since they nerfed it to it's only 3 times. You drain 3 times your rank of health from them. So it's a good finisher, but you can't really play multiple of them. I think Twin Strength's probably the best card because it's just the most flexible. You give 2 creatures plus 3 plus 3 plus 4 plus 4 plus 5 plus 5. So it affects multiple lanes, which is good, and it works on every creature. Which Scourge Knight's situational, and so is Raid Mother or Herd Mother. So take that. Death Seeker and Infernal Visage. Infernal Visage is kind of like Twin Strength, but it gives you regen instead of an extra point of power and toughness. I could take Death Seeker just so I have another token and it works with Grave Pact. I think I'm probably going to do that because I don't actually like Infernal Visage that much in this color pair. Because you have Twin Strength. Twin Strength is kind of like a better version of Infernal Visage. It just gives more earlier. So normally I think I would take Scatterspore Killer or Grave Pact. But since this is a free-to-play account, I need all the heroics I can get. I'm going to take Stygian Lotus. And Stygian Lotus is actually a pretty good card, because it also makes tokens. If you play it in front of a creature, it'll spawn a copy of itself. And then it will, if the copy spawns in front of a creature, it'll spawn another copy, and so on. So you can actually get quite a number of Stygian Lotuses, and that's balanced by the fact that it's absolutely atrocious stats. And I don't like this card very much. But it is a heroic, and I need all the heroics I can get. Speaking of all the heroics I can get, Saruman is one of the best cards in the set. It's really, really strong. You can play it on level. It's not very good as an underdrop because it's small and has a relevant ability only like on level. But you can play it, and they can only from then on out can play creatures with power 5 or greater. Because Saruman can just instantly gun down any creature with 4 or less attack. So that's pretty underwhelming at level 1, but at level 2 and 3, it starts killing anything if it's not, like if you play level 2 Saruman, and their hand is like a level 2 card and a level 1 card, the level 2 card has to have 9 or more power, or Saruman just kills it. And if they play like both of those cards, Saruman will kill the level 1 card if it can't kill the level 2. It always gets value. It's just so strong, and you don't have to spend a card to do it since you can activate it every turn. If you can protect Saruman like by pumping it or moving it, it gets really overbearing. It gets very hard to deal with. So it's one of the best cards, and it's a heroic. It's just the best. Death Seeker, I think I'm going to take another copy of. I've seen a lot of Grave Packs. Maybe I'll get another one. Deep Warp Boar Rider is okay because it's got 16 power at rank 2. It's a really good underdrop if you play the level 1 version first. But Death Seeker is just a solid card, so we're just going to take that. Picks between Zithia and Rotfiend, which is a large underdrop attacker / kind of thing. It's a 7/8 that whenever it gets opposed, it gets -1/-1, and that effects gets compounded as its stats get bigger as it levels. Or I could take Etherwolves, which makes 2 5/6s rather, with an Overload spell. I'm going to take this because it's really good for swinging, and if I get like a Herd Mother or a Hive Empress or something like that, I can trigger Raid really easily with it. And it also works with Harbinger of Spring and Spring Dryad, which I'm really hoping to pick up because those cards are very strong. This pack's not the greatest. I could take a Twin Strength to pump my cards, but my cards are pretty small right now. I've only got a Death Seeker, a Stygian Lotus, some Shiverfang Serpents, and the 2 really good heroics, plus the other wolves. So my creatures are not the best, but it's probably still better than a Cavern Serpent, because Cavern Serpent's pretty small at rank 1. And the other cards aren't really that good. Strength of Numbers is not very good because it's very board dependent. Zithyan Hulk's just a decent creature. It's nothing special. And Deep Monster Raptor is way too small at rank 1 to warrant playing. Like it's really good at rank 2 if you play it in rank 1. But I never get to play it in rank 1 because it's like skipping your turn. A 2/2 just doesn't matter. And 16/16 for rank 3 is nowhere near as rewarding as it should be for having to suffer through this horrible thing. Like a 17/17 would probably be pretty decent, and it'd still probably be pretty bad. So let's just take Twin Strength and then follow it up with a Sharklaw Crusher. Actually, this is a heroic. It's a really unplayable heroic, but I do have a plant. I can replace my Stygian Lotus with a 9/9, I believe. Yeah, well, I'm just going to take the heroic because I want to take as many heroics as possible so I can, make that constructed deck and try to go infinite in the constructed queues. But I think the real pick there was Sharkclaw Crusher. Do I have any good big green creatures? Big Utera creatures? I do not right now. Just the Dimars pick card. Savage Oath gets +2/+2 and Breakthrough, and then it goes to 6/6 and 15/15, which is super overwhelming. I think it has much higher upside than Scavenger's Orbit, which is a decent creature with regen. It's really, really small at rank 3, which is why I don't like drafting it a lot. Because you're incentivized to play it in rank 1, because it's, you know, a little above average size, and then rank 2 it's a little below average, or average, and then rank 3 it's just garbage. So we'll just take the Savage Oath. This card is not as good either, because, you know, at max, if you have 5 creatures on the board, it's only going to be a 5/8, which is smaller than Damar's pick card, or Angel's cards, like heroics like that. But this card, if you play it with like 2 creatures, if you play it and another creature, it's only a 3/8, which is really bad. So I'm just going to take the Savage Oath. And then Sharkclaw Crusher is a little better than, actually a lot better than Glimmer Reaper Witch, because in Utera you don't have any of the minus attack that Aloyan gives you. This card's much better in Aloyan than any other faction pair, because you can decrease their attack and then use your Glimmer Reaper Witch to kill it. So Sharkclaw Crusher I can just use to pump my creatures, which are looking pretty small right now. Is that a second Sorrow Maiden? Okay. Same things I said about Sorrow Maiden apply the first time. There's a lot of cards in this draft we haven't seen yet, or a lot of cards in this pack we haven't seen yet in this draft. Cold of Week's an okay creature removal spell. It's like a Sorrow Maiden if you could only use it once and it wasn't a creature, which, you know, is really saying something for Sorrow Maiden. But Cold of Week's an okay card. Brambleaxe Warrior just gives you, it's like Savage Oath, it gives your creature Breakthrough. But only once. Brute Horror pumps your creatures. It's not very good in Utera because you have so much pump already, and the Brute Horror dies as it pumps other creatures. Torgmine Mitter gives your creature health, which is decent, and Grimgaunt Spectre is just a very small creature, and then it gets pretty good at level 2, and then it's kind of like a Scavenger Scorpion. So we'll take the, not Scavenger Scorpion, what's that other card? Deep Moss Raptor. We'll take the other Sorrow Maiden, because, you know, it's the best card. I could take Etherwolves for worth 5/6s. It's probably going to be the best pick. I don't know if it's worth playing Victory Rush, because I only have 2 token creators, right? Oh, no, I have the... Oh, no, I have 1 Etherwolves and 2 Death Seekers. So that's all I've got going for me for attacking with 3 creatures for raid. So Victory Rush is only good... Well, it's a decent card, because it gives +4/+4. And then it'll give +8/+8 if you attack with 3 creatures. So it's really strong if you can attack with 3 creatures and then play on something to make it huge. But my cards are pretty small, and I don't have a lot of token creators to attack, like guarantee I'm attacking with a bunch of creatures. So I think it's a little more reliable to take the other wolves. Again, another one of those situations where Blightwalker is the best card in the pack because it's a really good removal spell for those large creatures that are on the same level as it. But Sigmund Fraud's a heroic, and I'm trying to build a collection here. Group Meal is a pretty decent card. It gives you your, all your creatures plus attack and all theirs minus attack. And since I have 2 Sorrow Maidens, it's going to be really strong if I can put a creature inside my Sorrow Maiden's range. Take another Sharkclaw Crusher. Ooh, Flesh Fiend. Flesh Fiend is I was gonna talk about the Grove Mage here because it's a very strong Utera. It's like one of my favorite Utera commons of all time because it's very decently sized and it replaces itself with a seedling sapling tree folk when it dies. But Abomination is not Abomination. Flesh Fiend is kind of like that, except for it's decently sized at rank just 1 and 2. But it also puts its own leveled versions of itself into play. So like the level 1 Flesh Fiend is just a 6/6. The level 2 Flesh Fiend is an 8/8 and a 6/6. The level 3 is a 12/12, an 8/8, and a 6/6. So it's really difficult to deal with. And it triggers Raid really easily, which is relevant if I get another Victory Rush or see another Victory Rush or Herd Mother or something like that. I wouldn't be disinclined to take it. So we've got Scourge Knights and Scatterspore Tiller. I don't want the Scatterspore Tiller because I have nothing that works with it. We can try to draft the Scourge Knights. I think that's probably a little better since I have 2 Sorrow Maidens and a lot of tokens. I can probably guarantee formation a little more consistently. Tusken Grovekeeper is an okay card, but I have nothing that gains health. And there's actually very little in this format that gains health in general, right? There's just like Torgmine Mender and Verdant Grace, or Verdant Sphere is what it's called. So this card's just not really what you ever want to be really doing. So we'll take the Scourge Knight. And follow it up with Rite of the Grimgaunt, which is a decent card. It's quite board dependent, but I have a lot of ways to kill my own creatures, which is nice. Because you can put this on a creature, and whenever a creature dies, it gets +1/+1. So, and that includes your creatures and your opponent's creatures, and it's a heroic. And I don't have to take another Cultivate, which is nice. Demon Web Watcher or Sharkclaw Crushers? I have 2 Sharkclaw Crushers already. I don't have... this card's just a decent card. I think Sharkclaw Crusher is still better, because even though it doesn't level very well, as an 8/8 to 12/12, it still makes your next creature you play on top of it really big. And then, Great Pact, that's nice. This is my last pick. Nope, I've got 5 more. Deep Branch Ancients or Heroics, I'm probably going to have to force to take it here. But otherwise, I think I would probably take Minerali Symbiote, because it's a decently sized creature. But it also is really good with pump spells, because it has regen. If you play it in front of a creature, it gets regen 2, 4, or 6. And that makes it really strong with Sharkclaw Crusher, Rite of the Grimgaunt, and stuff like that. Deep Branch Ancient is not the best heroic. It's actually pretty bad, but I have 2 copies of Etherwolves, right? So I can probably get a kicked Deep Branch Ancient sometimes. The thing is, if it's not kicked, it's only a 4/4, so it's kind of bad. I'm gonna take the Rev Matriarch. I need some solid creatures in my deck that level well, and I don't really have that other than Damara's Pitguard, Sorrow Maiden, and that's it, right? Flesh Fiend? So I'd rather have the Rev Matriarch than a Scourge Knights. And then there's Harbinger of Spring, which is an excellent card with my double, what's it called? Double Ether Wolves, double, where is it? Deathseeker, and the Flesh Fiend. So we'll take that. Spring Dryad, it's like the same card. Harbinger of Spring only works with cards that aren't played from your hand, and it gets +2/+2 for each. But Spring Dryad works for every creature that enters play, and it gets +1/+1 for each. So Spring Dryad's a lot better than Harbinger, because it's a lot less limited. And this Katara Sprite is probably the best enabler for both of them, because it puts a creature into play that wasn't forged every time you replace it. So I'm actually really happy with this deck. It's got a lot of good cards, and unfortunately I was forced to pick a lot of really bad heroics because they were heroics, but you can still win without them. You don't need a whole deck to take some games off people. So this is actually kind of long video because my huge explanation at the beginning. So I'm just going to stop the video here and go to round 1 by the next time. So see y'all then.